Yeah, training's been really good. The group is clear on the mission that's ahead of us. The goals and objectives remain the same. And I would say the intensity, the focus has been really good, really encouraging, and looking to translate that into a good performance up in New England.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and start with questions in the room. And as a reminder, if you have a question on Zoom, please go ahead and use the hand raise function. Ben, right?
Yeah, BJ, just kind of looking back at last week, what are some things after reviewing that kind of stand out to you that you want to work on specifically, and maybe what are some things that surprised you kind of as positives?
For us, I thought it was, from the positive side, I thought there was really clear structure in what we were trying to do. After a couple short days of training, I thought the guys grasped the general ideas of what we were trying to accomplish really well. The areas to improve, I think we could do things a little bit quicker. I think we missed opportunities to exploit the opponent in certain areas, especially behind their back line, which again I think is a natural progression when you sort of throw a lot of things at a team. But the way that the players approach the match plan, we were really happy, and now it gave us a lot of learning opportunities in that game to sort of see where we are, things that we need to improve, and we've been able to spend the last couple of days doing that, and look to continue to just get a little bit better and execute a bit more when we play against New England.
Yeah, you need to win by multiple goals to make it through. I'm curious kind of how you approach, like you said, wanting to create goal scoring chances, but also knowing that you have to be tight at the back to kind of preserve that goal. How do you kind of balance those two things? Yeah,
I think that you approach the game for us still in a very similar fashion in the way that we want to play. We want to be true to who we are and what we've been sort of talking about. And we started this sort of period, this Leagues Cup period, saying that a main objective is to really solidify who we're going to be when we move forward. So I don't expect us to be, change a whole lot, but we know that there has to be a sense of urgency to what we're doing. So again, it's not necessarily about drastic changes away from the way we want to play, but, we certainly want to, score goals, create goal scoring opportunities. So we need to play with urgency. And we believe that if we can get ourselves a goal, it's game on, but we understand the mission is clear that we need to win with a +2 to at a minimum to advance.
We'll go ahead and open it up to the Zoom. Valer.
BJ, a lot of talk has been about whether or not spending some more time with the squad would be beneficial, even though if there are no games, if you were to exit the tournament tomorrow. Do you think that sort of period of gelling with the squad would be helpful, or do you think playing games is kind of more important there?
I would say the same thing I've said for a while, that we know that this is going to be, a long process to sort of build our overarching identity on how we want to play. But in this phase through Leagues Cup, the more games that we can play is more opportunities for us to learn, more opportunities for us to be challenged in different ways by different opponents. And under different types of pressure and stress. So our objective is clear. We want to play as many Leagues Cup games as possible moving forward.
Yeah, one more. Just on Walker Zimmerman, will he be available, as well as the other sort of injured players that we talked about last week? Will they be available for tomorrow's game?
Walker's in training today. We have to see where he's at with a lot of the Olympics were quite quick games if you follow it on the turnaround and some international travel. So he was in yesterday and he's in today, and then we'll have to make a decision from there. Is there any other specific players that you would want to know about?
Randall Leal, mainly.
So specifically to Randall, he will not be available for selection.
We'll go ahead to Jacob Shams.
Yeah. Yeah, BJ, I guess, on Wednesday after the game, Amar Sejdic, when he was talking to us, he kind of said that, you know, you guys were a lot more patient in build up on offense, but we're just missing that, you know, final pass, that third man pass, especially in the, you know, close to goal. Is that something that you think was maybe a product of just being so new as a group and having such limited time? And is that something maybe you expect to see more of? Just see better results in that area, just with more time to really work on things.
Yeah, I mean, that's great from Amar, because right after a game, he quickly was able to figure out, you know, I think some of the areas that we can improve after we had the ability to, you know, sort of rewatch the game and talk about it as a group. That's a very, you know, common conclusion that we came away from. I think when we sort of go through this process and we're doing it step by step, a lot of those things are normal. You know, that maybe the ball tempo isn't as fast. Maybe there's guys still thinking a little bit before you know, they make a decision. So it's something that we are going to continue to build upon, continue to stress in training, and leading into this match is something that we really want to do. Is again, staying very consistent as to who we are, but doing it at a much better way, and better is in a faster, higher tempo, more connected, and more fluid way as a team.
And Jacob, go ahead if you have another.
Yeah, and with Walker back in training, I guess, you know, what's his impact? I guess what do you expect his impact to be like on this back line? Obviously, you know, you coached him a lot with the national team, and you know, you're familiar with him and how he plays. I guess, what do you expect him to bring going forward from here?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, I think Walker has a great leadership responsibility in this team. And so that's what, you know, having him back, welcoming him back has already been in a short period of time over the last day. This morning you can already feel that energy, that positivity that he brings. And then on the field, it's doing a lot of the things that he's good at, which for me is, you know, he controls build up well. He understands, he breaks lines well with his passing. He has good recognition of his ability to play the ball behind the line, which is something that I think, you know, we can continue to improve upon. One of the learning lessons of the first match. And then you want him to be the sort of the stalwart defender that he is, right? Whether it's defending in wide areas or defending the penalty box. And then the occasional set piece goal is always good. So, I mean, I think for him, he's a really important piece to what we're doing as a collective. And again, we're going to try to, like we do with everybody, is make that a cohesive unit to bring out all of their strengths. And, you know, we're welcoming him back at a great time.
Yeah, just kind of looking back to last game, Patrick Yazbek made his debut. What have you seen, kind of looking back at the game, that stood out to you, and kind of what are you excited about seeing him over the next couple of months as he kind of integrates more?
For me, Patrick, I mean, just the personality and the energy that you see on the field is infectious. So first and foremost, just, you know, guys that want to be on the ball, guys that are moving to be on the ball, guys that are pressing, closing down, winning tackles. I think he's able to bring that, and then other people are able to feed off that energy. So I was just really happy with how quickly he was able to adapt in a first match, and kind of go from there. As we continue to evolve, it's just learning how to use him and his qualities, but also how to connect all of the other players around. And it's just building that cohesiveness. I mean, he's here for 6 days, 7 days. So it's going to be it'll be a period of time to really get him fully integrated. But the starting point was encouraging.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. We'll be back shortly with Patrick Yazbek.
Great. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Welcome back. We're joined by midfielder Patrick Yazbek. Patrick, you made your Nashville SC and Leagues Cup debut last week. What was that experience like for you, and how was training going in preparation for New England?
Yeah, obviously, firstly on the game, not the result we wanted, but of course with BJ coming in now and even myself, you know, it's about adjusting and learning just new tactics and a new system of play, and everyone kind of, just getting to know the team and the culture here. So as much as, it wasn't the result we wanted, it's about building on, our performances. And, for myself so far, it's been good. I've been welcomed quite well by the team, and everyone's been very nice. And, it's an honor to be here. And hopefully, with the New England game tomorrow, we can build on the last game and get a result that, progresses us through to the next stage.
Great. We'll start with questions first in the room, then on Zoom. But
Yeah, Patrick, Ben Wright with Broadway Sports Media. First of all, welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
Kind of just bigger picture, what made Nashville and MLS kind of the right move for you, and what kind of stood out to you about the club as you were considering?
Yeah, obviously I've touched on this before. I think the MLS as a league is growing in a very at a very quick rate and scale, and I think there was an opportunity to come here. And to be quite honest, after speaking with Mike and the previous coach Gary, who reached out to me, and even BJ as well when they tried to sign me, it was an opportunity that I felt was right for me. It's a club that has big ambitions, not too much history, but that's just the nature of the club at the moment being so young. And I think to be a part of an organization that wants to create history and go on and make the finals and over the years kind of progress into a top tier MLS side, it was a good opportunity for me to kind of come here and really have an impact. And so that's one of the reasons, and probably the main reasons why I felt like the opportunity was right.
Yeah, just kind of looking back to Wednesday. Obviously, first game you played the full 90+ minutes. How was that process?
Yeah.
And just kind of how do you feel like you kind of just gelled with the team?
Yeah, it was pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie. I was playing in 16 to 20 degrees Celsius. So for me, that was a shock. The heat. I have played in heat like that before, but I think I was I was quite content with my own performance. Obviously, under the conditions, I felt like I did okay. Obviously, it's a good start, and I'm just looking at progressing and getting better, and I feel like I'm slowly adapting to the climate and the conditions, and with more games I play, I think I'll only get better because I'll be able to adapt, and yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing with this team.
We'll go to Valera on the Zoom.
Hey, Patrick. For NSC fans, could you describe your game, and are there any players that you kind of model your game after?
Yeah, so obviously for the fans, I am quite an energetic player. I like to get up and down the pitch, like to get on the ball, control the tempo, dictate the game. I like to get assists, I like to create chances. So for me, at the end of the day, it's about getting on the ball as much as possible and being as productive as possible, but also doing my defensive duties well, winning tackles, getting involved, and just kind of leading the team from the middle of the park. And an idol, I'd say, someone I'd kind of modeled my game with Steven Gerrard a little bit. I think he's a great example of a box-to-box midfielder, one of the best of all time. So yeah, Steven Gerrard, I'd say.
And Valera, go ahead if you have a second.
Yeah, you've played in Australia, you've played in Europe, and now you're playing in the US. Is this something you enjoy? You enjoy kind of going to different places and playing soccer, or is this kind of just the best opportunities out there?
Yeah, obviously football as a career is it's very short. The average career is probably 10 to 15 years. So I feel like to say that I've experienced those three cultures of football so far has been quite enjoyable. But it's not necessarily about what continent I'm in. It's just about what the best opportunity is at the time. And I think I do have although I am young, I do have that experience with those three kind of environments. So I'm just looking to learn here, and it's going to teach me something different. And yeah, it is different at the end of the day, but it's positive in its own way.
We'll go to Jacob Shames on Zoom.
Yeah, Patrick, Jacob Shames with the Tennessee in here in Nashville. I guess, what have you made of BJ's coaching style so far? And I guess, how do you feel? How do you feel you fit in? Just given your strengths as a player, I guess, how do you feel you've fit into his coaching style and tactics?
Yeah, I think BJ's obviously come in at a good time. you know, we've got about a month with quite a few games, you could say, for him to implement his style and his coaching methods. But from my own point of view, I think BJ and I think quite alike, you know, not to say that, you know, we're best friends, but, you know, when he talks about his tactics and the way he sees the game, I think that for me, it suits the kind of player I want to be. And, you know, it only helps because it means that, you know, if we see eye to eye quite early on, it's gonna help the team progress at a quicker pace because I think on the same page. But as it stands, you know, BJ's working really hard. There's a lot of information going through the team, and you know, we've been doing a lot of video sessions and a lot of analysis, and he's been drilling us on the pitch in a positive way. So I think it's only a matter of time before we start to, or the culture and the identity starts to flourish through.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, and you know, you guys need to win by at least 2 goals, you know, on Tuesday in order to advance to the knockout stage in the Leagues Cup. I guess does knowing that you have a target to shoot for, you know, otherwise you won't advance. Does knowing what you have to do, is that easier for you guys to prepare, or is that maybe put more pressure on you that you guys don't want? I guess how do you take that as a team?
Well, this is my perspective. I believe that, you know, for us, having that target is always positive, but for New England, you know, they've got something to lose, whereas we don't, you know. So I think if we can kind of take that mentality into the game and take some risks and really go for it, I think, you know, we can really cause almost an upset and get the result we want. I think we're in a good position heading into the game tomorrow.
Back, one more.
Yeah, just kind of talked about the need to win by 2 goals. Obviously, there's always kind of balance to be found between attack and defense, but it feels maybe even more prevalent tomorrow when you have a goal difference that you need to hit. How do you, from your perspective, kind of balance wanting to push the ball forward and then create chances while also, I mean, keeping them scoring?
Yeah, obviously, I think the balance is very difficult to kind of control, and if you can get an early goal, that's great, you know, because it kind of puts you in a good stead for the rest of the game. But you know, it is a 90-minute game, so we shouldn't panic, I should say, and worry about the 2 goals. I think it's more or less just kind of sticking to our philosophy and our style of play, and just trust that if we do what, you know, we've practiced and trained, that the 2 goals will come. But yeah, it's obviously a very fine line, and it's going to be hard to manage tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much, Patrick. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.